Hello everybody, I'm Steven from VALHARTV, and today I'll be reviewing The Boys Season 2, Episode 7, Butcher, Baker, Candlestick Maker. I had mixed feelings about this episode. The beginning montage they do with a guy who's in the same routine, day in and day out, listening to the same media, was kind of not needed. I felt it wasn't very good. And just overall, it just kind of wasn't as good as episode 5 or 6. I really didn't like those episodes, and I thought they were really well done. This episode, not so much. So we're gonna get right into the spoilers because I'm not really sure how else to do it. So you've been warned. So 4, 3, 2, 1. Now we're going to get into spoilers. So we start out with a man who has a bedroom full of superhero memorabilia, posters, things like that, and it's all of Stormfront. He gets up and he listens to the same stuff from Stormfront, all the same media, goes to class, goes to convenience store, and one day in the convenience store, a flash of green light hits the clerk's eyes. And the guy freaks out and leaves, and then he gets a gun because he thinks he might be a super terrorist. And he walks back in and asks him if he's one, and the guy's like, "Hey, no, I have a family. Please don't shoot me." And he shoots and kills him. So I kind of, and it was an Asian store owner too. It was a store clerk who was Asian. And it just really, to me, wasn't necessary to put in there, but it just shows like the indoctrination of listening to the same stuff every day. How that could be detrimental to somebody. And then we go to Grace's home, where Lamplighter is going to be a key witness for Congress to provide evidence against Vought. They need to know what is fully happening at Sage Grove in order to take Vought down. So they're working with a congresswoman there who was trying to criminalize superheroes because of the video of where Homelander killed the super terrorist and that kid that he didn't see. So Lamplighter's working with them, and that whole scene too afterwards was kind of crazy because him and Huey start watching like porn and stuff, and it's just like, wait, what? And then we go to another scene where Starlight and her mom are in a cafe talking, and Starlight's mom wants to go on a vacation, so she tells Starlight that she called Ashley at Vought and cleared it with her. Said that, and then they said it was okay for them to go on vacation together. And Starlight is like, they're looking for me. I'm on the run, and I gotta go. So Black Noir attacks the cafe and captures her. And then we go to Homelander and Stormfront taking part in a One Nation rally, where Stormfront announces that they don't condone the murder of the store clerk from the beginning of the episode. And then they talk about how SJWs, social justice warriors, have done a lot of damage over the course of time, and how bad they are. And that's where Homelander announces that Starlight was the mole in Vought, and that they captured her and she's now imprisoned. And then we go back to Grace's home, where Billy and the gang are leaving, and Billy asks Huey to stay behind and look after Lamplighter. Lamplighter opens up and confesses how he was meant to do great things but failed, all while they're watching porn. It's all about being a cuck, and they're trying to, Lamplighter and Huey are trying to out-cuck each other, basically, and it's just, that whole thing was just, a weird. So Huey finally turns the station to the news, where Huey sees Homelander announce that Stormfront is imprisoned, and he freaks out and wants Lamplighter's help to break into Vought. So Lamplighter and Huey infiltrate Vought, and they go through, and Lamplighter is telling him that he knows exactly where she is, and then Lamplighter takes Huey to the statues of the seven and the conference room for him, and he talks about how they moved his statue, and all he wanted to do was make his dad proud, and he sets himself on fire, killing himself. So Huey has to cut off his hand, and he's all like, "Oh, it's so gross," and I'm like, "You've done worse than that." But he goes through, so he gets the hand, and he takes off. And because of the sprinkler system coming on, Starlight gets some different light so she can use her powers, and she breaks herself out. And Huey rescues her mom, and then they meet up. But before they meet up, Starlight runs into Black Noir, and then they fight. She's getting her butt kicked, and that's when Maeve comes in. And you get the big reveal on who Black Noir is. She pulls his mask up and feeds him an almond joy because he has a nut allergy. Now, I don't know his comic book origins or anything like that, so I thought it was kind of neat. But the peanut allergy, I was kind of like, really? It's like, that's interesting. So she basically feeds him a almond joy because nobody likes almond joys, because of the nut, and she kicks away his EpiPen. So we don't know what happened to him. They cut to where her and Maeve leave, and they go their Maeve and Starlight go their separate ways. And then Starlight and Huey and her mom all meet up and they escape. And we also we get to see Billy get a call from his mom who says his dad's dead and she wants to see him. And it's all a setup for him to talk to his father, because she wants to show him how frail he is now because he's been sick with cancer. So his dad and Billy get into a fight over his brother who died a long time ago. He killed himself apparently, and Billy leaves. And that whole thing was just set up to just show like a bad dad again. So it's another bad dad theme. I'm kind of tired of that too. I mean, there's a lot of parents that are good. There's a lot of parents that are bad. So not really sure where they're going with that. But we do cut back to Stormfront and Homelander at the One Nation rally. And Stormfront sees a baby at the rally. And she starts missing her daughter. So Homelander says, "I got something to show you." So he takes her, and they go and meet Rebecca and his son Ryan. Stormfront introduces herself and tells Ryan that he is the first natural-born superhero. So the kid, he thinks it's kind of cool, I guess. It's hard to tell with him. And then they spend time there, and Homelander tells her that they're going to spend a lot more time there with them too. And eventually, I believe it's Homelander and Stormfront fly Ryan up above the compound that they're living in and show him that it's all been a lie, that his mother's been lying to him, everybody's been lying to him. And they're doing that, and they did that because Homelander wants Ryan to grow up differently than he did. He doesn't want him to be sheltered. He says he's gonna freak out when he sees the real world, and I believe he's right. You can't just shelter people their entire lives, but Becca's doing it because she loves him and she's trying to raise him better than Homelander was raised. So they both kind of want what's best for Ryan, but they're going about it the wrong way, I feel. So basically, Ryan says he hates his mother because he lied to her, and Homelander, and Stormfront take Ryan away, and Becca's just left there, all alone now. And Vought's obviously not going to help her because they've never stopped Homelander from going there. Then we also we cut back to Maeve and Elena. Elena tells Maeve that she's leaving the apartment because she can't get the video of the airplane out of her head. And Maeve gets mad, flips the table over, and then Elena is super scared. And Maeve says, "You wanted to see the real me. This is the real me." And she's like, "I know. I need time," and leaves. And then we cut to where Maeve is in bed with a man. She just slept with him because she's actually bisexual. Ashley walks in and says, "Well, no, that's not our branding. You can't do that." And she tells, Maeve tells Ashley just to be a human being for once and get out because, Elena left and she's not coming back. And then that's where, we do see Ashley actually become like a human and says, "Hey, I'm sorry," and leaves. So I was actually surprised about that. And then we go to Mother's Milk and Grace, who go to visit Vogelbahn, Joseph there, who raised Homelander. And they ask John about, or not John, Jonah, I believe his name is, about what happened at Sage Grove. And he says he doesn't know anything about it because he's not, not in charge of anything anymore. And they try to get him to cooperate with them so they can get more info on Vought and like the stuff that they're doing so they can take him down in the Congress hearing that's coming up. And he says he can't help him, because they threatened his family and if he talks. And so they leave, and Grace tells MM to go home, to go back to his family. She can get him on a plane out of the country, and they'll never be seen again. And MM says, when it's done and over with, and she tells him it's never done and over with. So, that's the whole thing. And then she calls Billy up and tells Billy to go talk to him because she knows that Billy will, get him to talk. So Billy shows up and asks Jonah about what Homelander was like when he was growing up. And he tells him that Homelander was actually a sweet kid when he was 5 and he didn't want any of that, but they needed him to be the strongest man in the world, so he went to work on him and turned him into what he is today, which I think is it really, really bad. You just don't do that to a kid. So basically another bad dad. And Billy says, "Okay, so you need to give me information on Vought. You need to tell me everything that you know." And he's like, "I can't." He's like, "Well, this is what I'm going to do." He's like, "I'm going to kill your entire family today. They die today." So Jonah looks at him and is like, "Oh, well, he's serious." So he gives up the information. And finally we get to the Congress hearing, and everybody's going in and sitting down, including Homelander and Stormfront. And they start the hearing. And who comes through the doors but Jonah does. And Homelander is really surprised that he's there. So they start the hearing with him, and he's there. He tells him he's there to testify, about Vought. And all of a sudden, a head explodes. I was like, wait, what? And then another one explodes, and then another. And everybody that is there against Vought, all their heads explode, including the speedster that replaced A-Train. His head explodes. So Homelander and Stormfront get up, and they're looking all over the place, trying to figure out what's going on, and you don't see anything. So I think it's a superhero that are a soup, whether it's a terrorist or a superhero is doing that. Because you don't see anybody, shooting their heads or anything like that. So I did like that scene. I thought it was kind of cool because everybody's shocked and is trying to figure out what's going on. And Grace gets the Congresswoman out. And the boys are watching this, on TV, and we get a close-up shot of Billy Butcher, who's kind of like, what are we going to do now type look on his face. We also do, like, to backtrack a little bit, we do get to see Frenchie and Kimiko outside of the Congresswoman's house helping protect her. And they talk a little bit about how his mother liked to cook and not his dad. So that whole thing was kind of weird too, because then she starts teaching him her sign language. She makes a sign for a gun after she picks the gun up. So Frenchie's like, oh, it's a gun? She's like, yeah. So she starts giving in and trying to teach him how to communicate with her. So there was that scene too. Overall, they didn't touch anything on or about Huey and Billy and Starlight being in a public hospital. They were there for a couple of days and nobody turned them in, because we fast forward a couple of days, and so we didn't get to see that. We did get to see a little bit about the church, where they get rid of the archer, Eagle the Archer, I think his name is, because he got caught doing a furry. I have no clue what that is. So they're not talking to him, and the Deep is like, oh, he's a great guy. Then when they say that, he's like, oh no, you're right. He was never a friend. And A-Train's just looking at him like, wait, what? So we get to see them in a bar watching the television, and they see Eagle the Archer on there talk about how the church is bad, and so they really, and then the Congress hearing, and they don't really do anything other than that for this episode with the church. So I was kind of interested to see where they're going, because I believe there's only one episode left this season. So this season's been really up and down for me. There were some good episodes. I did like the first three. Episode 4 was not very good. 5 and 6 were good. So again, this one was not really that great. I would give it a 6.5 at the most out of 10. So we'll see with episode 8 on how good it gets. Again, like, they've got maybe they'll reveal what's going on with the heads exploding. Maybe they won't. But it doesn't look good for VOT when you've got people who are trying to testify against you and bring charges against you getting their heads exploded. So we'll see how VOT deals with that, in episode 8. So again, guys, thank you for watching. If you like what I do, please hit the like button and also subscribe, as I will be doing more content each week. Take care for now.